and lawmakers will need to tackle a list of pressing issues.
Yeah, from funding the government to the lingering concerns surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein case, lawmakers are expected to have their work cut out for them over the next few weeks.
NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Melanie Zanona joins us now. Mel, perhaps the biggest task facing lawmakers, stop me if you've heard this before, funding the federal government. Those funds are expected to run out, I know, by the end of the month. So where do things stand right now on that front? And what are going to be some of the biggest challenges facing lawmakers this time around?
Yeah, good morning, guys. It is only the first day back for Congress, and we are already on shutdown watch. And that is because they only have a few weeks to come to an agreement. They haven't done so yet. And there are already some major red flags, some major warning signs about how this is all going to come together. But what it really boils down to is whether Democrats are going to put up the votes and essentially bail Republicans out because they need Democratic votes, at least in the Senate, to get this done. Now, earlier this year, Chuck Schumer did allow him and some other Senate Democrats to provide the votes, and essentially they did bail Republicans out and funded the government. But Schumer got a lot of flack from his base over that. They really want to see their Democratic leadership fighting Trump, sticking it to the Trump administration. And there's been a lot of dynamic changes since that moment as well. I mean, just look at the last week, some of the controversial actions that Trump has taken, really riling up especially Democratic members of Congress, from firing the head of the CDC to even this more recent move, which is something called a pocket rescissions. Essentially, the White House deciding to cancel funding that had already been approved by Congress without seeking their congressional approval. So Democrats are sitting there wondering, why would they agree to fund the government if Trump is just going to do whatever he wants? So all of these going to be huge dynamics that we need to watch over the next few weeks, but definitely barreling towards a real showdown at the end of the month here, guys.
Mel, the other issue here, the Jeffrey Epstein case, I mean, that is expected to cast a shadow over Washington once again this week. What is the latest?
Yeah, we could see some pretty explosive moments on Capitol Hill this week. That is because we're expecting to hear from some of the survivors and victims of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse. First up today, a group of victims are going to meet privately with the House Oversight Committee. It's going to be a bipartisan meeting with Republicans and Democrats, but those victims want to remain private. So afterwards, we are expecting to hear from some of the lawmakers. They're going to come out on the steps and do what's known as a press gaggle. But tomorrow, there's going to be a different group of some of these survivors. 10 of them is what we're hearing, who have never spoken out publicly before, that are going to appear at a public press conference to tell their tales. We are hearing that could potentially be a really just explosive, powerful moment. And the reason why this matters, guys, is because there's an effort, a bipartisan effort on Capitol Hill to force a floor vote on a resolution that would essentially release all of the Epstein files from the government immediately and without redactions. They need the support of 218 members of Congress, though. The thinking, though, is once they hear from some of these victims, there's going to be a real flood of members who want to sign on to that resolution. So that's something we're watching as well.
And Mel, we are going to dig into this next topic more in just a moment, but we obviously expect Congress to push for answers about what we're seeing at the CDC, the turnover, the administration's deeply controversial approach to vaccines. What can we expect to see with Congress back now?
Yeah, well, the secretary is actually going to be testifying on Capitol Hill this week. That is a hearing that was already in the works prior to the shakeup at the CDC. He's going to appear before the Senate Finance Committee later this week. But of course, this is going to be an opportunity for senators to really grill him on not only the firing of the CDC director and some of the high-profile departures that followed, but also his own views on vaccines and some of his anti-vaccine rhetoric. I'm particularly interested in what Bill Cassidy is going to say. He's a Republican who sits on that committee. He also chairs the Health Committee. He provided a pivotal confirmation vote for Kennedy, despite having some concerns about the secretary. And since then, Kennedy has broken a number of promises that he directly made to people like Cassidy. So the question is whether Republicans still have confidence in the secretary and if they're going to do anything about it. So just a huge, huge week on Capitol Hill, guys.
No kidding. We'll keep you busy. Mel, thanks.